Hello dear viewer, I recently played Ghost Recon Breakpoint and frankly thought the story was, how's the nicest way to put this? Shit. Without exaggeration, one of the worst, if not the worst, stories I've had the displeasure to play in any video game. However, I've always maintained the mantra that a video game, should prioritize the gameplay. So Breakpoint having a subpar story wasn't a grave concern. It didn't ruin the experience. However, I must admit it did retract from it quite significantly. Add to this the weird approach to the main story that of splitting into 3 episodes and having the 2 other episodes be expansions to the game. All in all, this results in what this video is about. I, frankly put, have absolutely no experience in writing a video game story. So I decided what I would do to remedy the situation plaguing Breakpoint was to create a video game story. Take what was already there, throw it together, take out some unnecessary fluff, and create what I'd call a passable story. I ain't no Tom Clancy, but neither were the writers in this Tom Clancy game, so. But first, we must summarize the story that is already in the game. For this, I will do my best to summarize it in 2 sentences. Walker, Stone, and Skell fuck up, so Ghost Team gets involved. And after many assassinations and even more search and rescue missions, Ghost Team kills Walker and eventually Stone. Also, there's this thing with Sam Fisher and the strategist that the game really doesn't go anywhere with, and there's also the Outcasts and Raven's Rock and Bodark. Oh, and this thing with Project Dis and Project Claw, but don't forget about Operation Greenstone, Wonderland, Operation Checkmate, and Operation Motherland. Got that? Good. I know that I'm simplifying a bit, but the biggest sin that this game commits is that there's way too many operations and projects. In my opinion, if the story has more than 2 projects or operations, then it becomes convoluted and repetitive. But for the sake of maintaining as much as I can for the revised story, I kept all of them. I guess I owe it to you to actually give you a decent picture of what is going on, so I should get to that. But before that, a quick disclaimer. I think I read maybe 1 collectible or maybe 2. Because I couldn't be bothered to read detailed world building, which, let's be honest, wasn't going to be good anyway. So in my shooty sneaky bang bang game, I didn't read anything. Anyway, Jay Skell is a billionaire, money, who decided that he can build a better world than the one we have right now and created World 2.0 on Aurora, moving his company and everyone that worked for him to the archipelago. Everything was going fine until a transhumanist movement, the Warhammer kind, not the Life is Strange kind, begins in Aurora and resistance is born from the Outcasts. The Outcasts decide the best course of action is to commit terrorism and blow up a building with people in it, and Jay Skell decides the best thing to do is to hire a private military company, Sentinel, and to go and police the island. Obviously, since Skell is stupid, Sentinel take control of the island, but before that hire Cole Walker, an ex-Ghost team member, for military advising. Aurora goes into lockdown, a US cargo ship is sunk off the coast, and all communications from the island are cut off. Ghost team come in but are attacked by a bunch of drones that you later learn are part of Project Citadel, which revolves around creating weaponized drones and other stupid robots to protect the island. From here, you, as the player, learn all about what I just said, and then you proceed to save 4 scientists in the most mundane gameplay loop since this side of the 2009. After hours of gameplay, you get crumbs of backstory revolving Walker and his big boss-esque descent into the world without borders, or red tape in this case. You can kill him at the very start of the game, by the way. It's difficult, but giving the player the option to off the main antagonist in the opening hour is quite crazy. Anyway, you save a bunch of eggheads, create a virus to contact the outside world, kill Hill, a former ghost and traitor, kill a bunch of Walker's alpha wolves, kill Walker, and that's it for the first episode. What happened to Trey Stone? I don't know. He kind of hangs out until the writers remember that they have to let the player kill him in the 3rd DLC, so he's gonna sit tight there for now. In the 2nd episode, you have another scavenger hunt for a bunch of people that give you the most bare minimum amount of information regarding the big bad of this episode, which is the strategist. Sam Fisher is also here in Ubisoft tradition, wheeling the old man out whenever possible instead of giving him his own game. The 2nd episode is a big nothing burger that is frankly a waste of time. At least you get some drippy gear at the end of it, and it's always nice seeing Sam Fisher. The 3rd episode, paralleling my declining interest, also has lost interest in this story, and it's just 9 kill quests with basic information about the targets you are killing, as if you would actually care. There are 2 targets that are actually interesting, which are Bukarov and Anthony Berkeley Jr. I will be using these 2 characters in my revised story. What happens in episode 3? Oh shit. Oh yeah, you killed Trey Stone. That matters. He doesn't get any cutscenes, just some radio calls after you kill certain targets, and there's no fanfare at all, you just kill him. So what happens with Aurora? I don't know. Operation Motherland adds some epilogue-esque thing that makes you take over the island from Sentinel and give it to the outcast, but I wasn't compelled to play it because at the end I was just dragging my feet through the game. You got that, dear viewer? Do you know everything that happens in Breakpoint? No? Not to worry. It doesn't matter because here's my version of events on Aurora. One small thing though. This story combines all 3 episodes, ditching the frankly stupid approach Ubisoft took with the original game. I mean, maybe it's stupid. I mean, I'm no board of director, right? We begin with 6 years prior to the events of Aurora. Sorry. Just like the original story, Cole Walker and Nomad meet in Bolivia before being deployed to the Middle East. Just like the original story, they form a sort of bond here and become brothers in arms before Walker goes off the deep end and kills a superior officer, just like in the original story. Interestingly, I found that the original story of Breakpoint has a solid setup, but it really starts to fall apart on Aurora. Continuing on, we have Peter Miles, the Deputy Director of Operations for the CIA, contacting the strategist, whose real name is Leon Farrow, in regard to the early concept stages of Project Claw. Because Walker killed an officer, he resigns from Ghost Team. He decides to do contract work where he is hired by Trey Stone's Sentinel, just like in the original story. But the difference is that Sentinel has Russian ties and is the sister PMC to Raven's Rock and Bodark. The Outcasts begin as they did in the original story as a resistance movement to Project Deus and still bomb the building with innocents inside. This causes J. Skell to panic and hire Sentinel, and Project Citadel is created. Same story. However, after Aurora goes into lockdown and Sentinel establishes martial law, Peter Miles gets the strategist onto Aurora to begin work on Project Claw. What? It's so stupid, the name. I can't pronounce that. Aurora. This is where Trey Stone, Southern Curtsy and all, sees Project Claw and decides to plan Project Wonderland. In my revised story, Bodark helped Cole Walker establish the Wolves and the Alpha Wolves. This means that Rosebud, Silverback, and Flycatcher will have a bigger presence in the story rather than just being another kill quest. Almost done with setup. Following martial law being activated, the CIA spots increased military technology on Aurora via satellite and orders Sam Fisher to conduct a classified solo operation onto the island. Raven's Rock combines Project Claw and Project Wonderland to create a terrorist attack on the United States in typical bad guy Russian behavior. Cole Walker also creates a secret terrorist plan on Operation Lynchpin. Peter Miles calls it quits with the strategist, and the US cargo ship is sunk off Aurora, prompting Peter Miles to send in the Ghost Team to investigate where the game starts. Operation Greenstone was what started the game, but in my story the operation is a joint op between the NSA Ghost Team 4th Echelon and the CIA Intelligence. The gang is all here. Finally, in this first stint of the story, J. Skell disappears. Now, just like in the original story, Ghost Team's infiltration is ambushed by the Operation Citadel drones and most of them die. Nomad also sees Walker here, just like in the original story, and is shocked to find that the man he saw kill a superior officer is also capable of killing his former Ghost Team members. What a shocker. Sam has been here and discovers that strategists and the West have been in touch with each other. Ghost Team reconvenes in Erewhon, just like in the original story, except Josiah Hill joins them and is part of the team. Holt is still injured in my version of events, and Midas is still missing, presumed dead. Matt Schultz, who is much younger in my story but still having that sick beard, and Haruhi Ito are the twin leaders of the Outcast. They inform Ghost Team that J. Skell is missing and reveal his Operation Citadel. 4th Echelon, who are also infiltrating Aurora, get in just fine, but they are more sneaky than a bunch of army guys and gals entering on choppers. So they are there for Operation Checkmate, the capture of the strategist. Meanwhile, on Bad Guy Island, Project Claw is steadily progressing. The strategist is doing his own thing, stacking his own paper, while Trey Stone and Walker have their first catfight, and Trey Stone orders Walker to kill any ghost he finds. And in classic Echelon style, they aren't there. The Alpha Wolves ride out in search of Ghost Team booty, and Walker proceeds to move Operation Lynchpin along and acquires a submarine, presumably from Walmart. Finally, in Bad Guy Land, Trey Stone is still working on Project Wonderland, even though the Russians at Raven's Rock don't know that he plans to target everybody. That means even St. Petersburg, which sucks because I had an excellent time at the ballet there. Ghost Team, along with Josiah Hill, are on the hunt for J. Skell, but Josiah Hill is captured while Ghost Team follow a lead given to him by Haruhi Ito on the whereabouts of Paula Madeira, who should know where J-Skell is. Sam Fisher, being the goat he is, discovers that Hill has been captured and springs him out, but isn't fast enough to stop Walker from giving him a bit of sales tactics in order to get him on his side. At the same time, the Ghost team kill their first Sentinel leader in Hezrog and free Paula Madeira from Aurora's Guantanamo Bay. Trey Stone finds out about the fact that Walker did not kill Hill and was sloppy enough to let him escape and promptly demotes Walker. However, since Walker's idol is Big Boss, he takes his Wolves unit and begins attacking Sentinel and the Outcast, basically anybody. Raven's Rock sees this and sends the heir apparent to the little group, Bukharov, to sort this mess out and ensure the completion of Project Claw. This means that Trey Stone is no longer actively working on Project Wonderland because his boss has started to stand behind him and stare at his computer screen. Bodark soldiers enter Aurora, adding another faction into this mess, and the gang, 4th Echelon, Sam, Hill, Nomad, and Ghost team meet up again in Erewhon. Paula Madeira proves useful and gives information to the gang about the general location of J-Skell. Nomad and Sam decide to duo up in the search for J-Skell, while Hill and the Ghost team leave to save more scientists on behest of Paula Madeira. 4th Echelon does 4th Echelon things and gathers info. The Outcasts keep playing jihadist and blow up the J-Skell meeting hall, causing Bodark and Sentinel soldiers to start a counter-terrorism movement, resulting them in beating up people and putting them in concentration camps. However, Matt Schultz captures Ian Blake, Big Brother connoisseur and surveillance head for Sentinel, and kills him. Ghost team gets more information about other scientists from the ever-important Grace Maddox, who gives a location of Christina Cromwell. Sam and Nomad cosplay as Lewis and Clark and discover the West. I mean the fact that J-Skell is in a bunker. All this happens while Walker plays mobster and attacks Project Claw headquarters for the key drone technologies for Operation Lynchpin, and as a bonus, the missing Midas. Sam Fisher needs a little help from his friends from the CIA Satellite Center to localize J-Skell's bunker. Ghost team engages Silverback's unit and corners the Fiend, but when Hill has a shot, he hesitates. Ultimately, though, Hill does kill Silverback. Ghost team manages to extract Christina Cromwell. On the other side of the island, Bodark soldiers attack the last Outcast stronghold, Liberty City, and no, it's not GTA. 4th Echelon discovers Project Claw testing facility, and Sam and Nomad find J-Skell bunker and extract him. The gang meets up back at Erewhon for a little R&R, but Skell kills the mood when he describes how Sentinel took over the island and how to lift the lockdown. A virus. J-Skell needs 2 more scientists, and the gang plans an attack on a concentration camp that holds the last 2 pieces of the key needed to open the island up. However, while the plans are being made in the group chat, Liberty City falls to Bodark and Haruhi Ito is captured. I'm sorry for my Japanese, it's really bad. Anyway, the Alpha Wolf Flycatcher plays cosplay as a Ukrainian soldier and uses drones to sabotage Raven's Rock and Sentinel. The other Alpha Wolf, Rosebud, fails in sniping Bukharov in newly occupied Liberty City. Finally, in our little wolf charade, Cole Walker sends an inappropriate video to Nomad on purpose. Nomad sees the bloodied, mangled corpse of Midas and immediately decides to save him, and Hill joins him on the hunt for Walker. The grown-ups continue their work in saving the scientists and are confronted with Anthony Berkeley Jr., a disgraced Alpha Wolf. Ghost Team and Sam capture him and extract the scientists and head back to home base, Erewhon. Matt Schultz wants to be a hero and decides that he wants to save Haruhi Ito from imprisonment, but fails and is killed. A hop and a skip later, Nomad and Hill find Walker and confront him. Hill is conflicted between duty and ideology and chooses the Walker Sea, betraying Nomad. Nomad runs into the forest and barely survives capture, while on the walk of shame back to Erewhon, he finds Flycatcher's unit and decides to let out his anger on an assassination on Flycatcher. Back to Erewhon, Jace begins work on the virus with the help of the combined might of the bunch of eggheads, while Snowman and Sam do the fun part of interrogating a prisoner of war. Waterboarding? What's that? Anthony reveals the details of Operation Lynchpin, a grand plan to assassinate key military and political figureheads to create a world without bureaucracy and red tape, meaning he misunderstood the boss's message. Shake my head. Nomad kills Anthony and swears to save Midas, no matter the cost. Project Claw, meanwhile, is in its final stages, but Trey Stone is still being pressured by Raven's Rock to uphold its completion. This is when Ayana Puri begins to leak information to the gang from inside Sentinel. Sam remembers Operation Checkmate and switches focus on capturing the strategists. Ghost Team, led by Nomad, decide to go wolf hunting and maybe stop Operation Lynchpin if they get around to it. Naturally, the first stop the Ghost team makes is a visit to the currently leaderless outcast who might have information on the wolves. Sam does Sam things and infiltrates Project Claw testing facility and discovers the link between Project Claw and the dormant Project Wonderland. Ghost team prioritizes the extraction of Haruhi Ito over the killing of Bukarov and Trey Stone. Is sacked from Sentinel Command. Sorry, I forgot a comma. However, because Trey Stone is a parasite that doesn't go away, he restructured Project Wonderland to target Aurora instead, making the entire archipelago a hostage. Trey Stone continues to work on the real Project Wonderland, while Raven's Rock is forced to hand him the reins to the operations on Aurora. God, I hate that name. Back to the more interesting stuff, Ghost Team is ambushed by Rosebud on the way to an outcast hideout, but don't worry, Nomad is losing his mind and bashes her skull in violently. This is more of a personal grudge. I hate Rosebud. Anyway, Sam is about to pounce on the strategist and Ayana Puri gives information to the Ghost Team on the whereabouts of a wolf barracks. Finally, Sam captures the strategist and discovers the truth between him and Peter Miles. Project Claw was to be a replacement to real soldiers on a battlefield to prevent more needless death, but when Peter Miles found out that the system memory for the drones was human brains, that it regularly fried, Peter Miles decided to pull out Shark Tank style. Sam and his buddy, the strategist, head back to the Erewhon for extraction. Ghost Team find Walker's submarine harbor and confront him and Hill. However, when Walker gives Nomad the nice present of Midas's corpse, the gunfight begins. It is only interrupted by Bukarov and his Bodark soldiers who want the sub for themselves. I ain't talking Jersey Mike. Thanks to Griefers, Operation Lynchpin is destroyed. Unfortunately for Nomad, he's only able to capture Hill in the chaos. Walker gets away. Sneaky bastard. They call him Big Boss for a reason. The gang is back at Erewhon when the scientists finalize the virus to restore comms to Ghost Commander Colonel Scott Mitchell, or Spike Spiegel's WVA. The Colonel tells Nomad to arrest Hill, but Nomad refuses and kills Hill. Sam isn't happy, but job's not finished, and continues on to focus on Trey Stone. Project Claw is finished, but the cavalry has arrived and Delta Force leaves the USS Wasp off the coast of Aurora and lands on it. Ghost Team and 4th Echelon split off to execute simultaneous targets. With the help of Delta Force, Ghost Team attack Trey Stone's headquarters and prevent the Project Wonderland failsafe. While that is happening, 4th Echelon and Sam assassinate Bukarov in Liberty City. The day is won, hooray, but one more objective is left for Nomad, to find and kill Cole Walker. Nomad is battered and broken, but Cole Walker invites him to his position where he suggests that they settle things like soldiers. Nomad kills Walker, but briefly sees the world he envisioned and is left empty to the decisions he had to take on his mission. Nomad is congratulated, promoted, and celebrated, but just like Big Boss, Cole Walker, Nomad is left disillusioned with the system. Even though Cole Walker did kill a superior officer. Anyway, did you make through that all, dear viewer? I did my best. I like it personally. Altogether, I do think the Breakpoint does have pieces of an interesting story, but the execution is just abysmal. It's funny because when I was making my way through the game and experiencing the story, I was constantly thinking to myself that a Metal Gear story would be leagues better than whatever I was going through at the time. But when you take a step back and examine the bigger picture, the bones are there for a good story. They just need a little rearranging. Anyway, I've been your host, Dr. Breakpoint, and as always, goodbye.